Hello everyone, so this is how to make fish chowder. You'll need fish, butter, flour, chicken stock cubes, garlic and ginger. For veggies, you'll need the potatoes, carrots, celery, onion, canned corn, as well as some milk. Now for the celery, I cut up a big stalk into half and then halved it again into these sticks and then cut across to get a fine dice. And you can cut up the little bits as well, so you just need to get it into a dice, and again you can use 2 smaller stalks or a big stalk like I did. Next you have the onions. I used 1 big onion for this, cut it up into half and then into a dice. So you can just follow the way I did in this video, and the idea is you get it about the same size as you did your celery. And you could use 2 small onions or 1 big one for this. And then next we have the carrots. So I cut up 2 small carrots, halved them, and then cut them across so you get these little half circles. You could use 1 big carrot or 2 smaller ones like I did, and again you try to get them to about the same size as the rest of your vegetables. We then have the potatoes, so I used 1 big potato and then cut it up into these sticks and then cut them across to get these cubes. So once again you could use 2 small potatoes or 1 big potato. I just had 1 big potato with me, so I just used it and cut up into little cubes. And finally you have the fish. So I used 2 basa fillets for this. It's good to get a tougher fish that can hold up in the stew, so nothing like dory. But if you have any other fish, would be good. And here you go, you have all the ingredients prepped, and now we can start cooking. Okay, so to start, turn your stove to a low flame and add some olive oil to a big pot. Now you let the oil heat up for a bit before adding about 2 teaspoons of garlic and ginger, and then sauteing it until it becomes fragrant. And at this stage I recommend keeping it at a low flame, and you'll see later in the video why I say that. And the idea is that you would saute it for a bit before adding butter and flour as well as some milk, and that mixture becomes the roux, which will be the base for the dish. Now you can start to see trouble brewing already as the oil heats up, and I should really turn it down to low at this point. I thought, oh, it's fine, it's just going to be sauteing for a little while, but it was my mistake, because at this point you can see the fizzle and boom, all the oil just splattered everywhere. Not the best idea, but I turned it down to low, let things cool down for a bit, and then I added some flour to also hopefully cool them down a bit more. Now you want to let the flour cook for a bit, and I really mean just sauteing it in the pot for a bit, because you want to cook off the kind of chalky taste from flour, and you're really adding the flour and the oil mixture because that creates the roux, which thickens up soups and stews. So it's really there to create that base that I was talking about. So I added butter at this stage, let it melt, and at this point I added some milk, and as you can see the mixture has started to come together. It's become a bit thicker, and I can kind of scrape it away from the pot, and that's when I know I can add the veggies. So I'll be stir-frying the veggies at this stage, and I added bit by bit so that everything can come to temperature together. I added the corn as well as at this stage, sort of kind of frying it up in that roux, and then I added some milk as well to stop things from sticking to the pot, and for thickening up the mixture as well. Now I also added a stock cube and fish at this point, and you can now just kind of give it a bit of a stir and let it boil. So it takes about 25 to 35 minutes depending on your stove and the size of your pot as well. But you add some water to this whole mixture and let it go until it boils. And And then once it boils, you can then bring it back down to low. You can also come back every few minutes or so to just check on the chowder, make sure nothing's sticking, and then stir it for a bit. You can see here, we let it slowly come to a boil. And there we go, full on boiling, and at this point you can just turn it down to low. Now your house will smell amazing because you'll have all those aromatics from the sauteed ginger and garlic and the butter and all the veggies as well. I should also mention that before I let it go on low, I added some salt to taste, and after about 35 minutes, the fish chowder was ready to serve. Now, it can take about 25 to 35 minutes for it to be done when you go and let it go on low, and it should have reduced significantly in liquid, and it should be kind of thick and creamy. So that's when you know it's ready to serve. Now, I served about 2 bowls here, and there was about 2, maybe a bit more left in the pot, so all in all this serves about 4 to 5 people. And I serve the fish chowder with some garlic bread. So you could use any other kind of bread, sourdough or focaccia if you want. I just had garlic bread, and I garnished with some black pepper and parsley. And you can see that this is the result. So this really works as a dish to have on a cold winter night. It's quite warm and comforting. So that's all. Thank you for watching, and take care.